How will a sorcerer with 99 intelligence stack up against Malenia, the goddess of rot? That's what we're going to be looking at in today's video. I wanted to see just how much damage I could do with a maxed out intelligence build to see if I could beat Elden Ring's toughest boss while only being mediocre at the game. What's up everyone, Big Dan here. I make videos about RPGs like Mass Effect, Dragon Age, and now Elden Ring. So if you want to see more, hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications so you don't miss any new videos. Without further ado, let's dive right in. I like to call this build work smarter, not harder. First, I'll show you my stats and gear before diving into the fight with Malenia. I had a base stat of 91 intelligence, but I buffed myself with gear, specifically the Karolos Glintstone Burger King crown and the Stargazer Heirloom to get those last 8 points. For my caster, I'm using the Lusat's Glintstone staff upgraded to plus 10. This staff increases spell damage at the cost of higher FP, which I've offset by equipping a talisman that boosts my FP. So I can easily cast 3 to 4 high damage spells before needing to hit the cerulean bottle. And finally, I've equipped Morgoth's Great Rune to get that thick, boss-sized health bar. So yeah, let's go whoop some ass.
I am Malenia, Blade of Mikola. And I have never known defeat.
I didn't even get to take a single action. Alright, I'll see myself out. I thought about ending the video here for the meme, but I actually wanted to show you the strategy for this fight. Plus, I couldn't let Malenia get the last laugh. So initially I tried fighting Malenia solo, which is very doable with a mage build, at least in phase 1. If you keep your distance from her, she'll just kind of walk around the arena, waiting for you to make a move. This allows you time to cast your spells and get some damage in. I recommend using some kind of delayed or tracking spell because if it's a direct projectile, she's most likely going to dodge it. But her AI can't really dodge tracking spells. I use Stars of Ruin, which does pretty insane damage, roughly 1400 per cast, so you can very quickly melt her health bar with this. The problem with this strategy is she's absolutely going to use Waterfowl Blade against you though. You know, her infamous spin to win, gap closer, 900 hit combo. So you'll have to get really good at dodging this specific attack, otherwise she'll either kill you or get a shit ton of health back, which will draw out phase 1 and deplete your flasks. She also seems to use this attack much more frequently if she's not doing her other moves. So if you're keeping your distance from her, she might rev up Waterfowl Blade every 20 to 30 seconds. It gets kind of wild. I did eventually get relatively good at dodging her anime blade dance. Basically, you have to run away from the first flurry, roll towards her for the second flurry, and then roll away from her for the final attack. It takes practice, but if you do this correctly, you should completely avoid getting hit. Malenia will start phase 2 with a big dive bomb flower blast. To avoid this, just run straight towards her and underneath. She'll sail over your head and you should easily avoid the blast radius. After she lands, this is a great time to drink your wondrous physic flask and blast her with Comet Azure for a lot of damage. I had the tier which grants you infinite FP for 10 seconds, so you can get in much more damage than usual. Fighting Malenia solo in this fashion was pretty tedious and boring though. You'll spend most of your time running away to cast spells or use a flask, and then you have to react to her anime attack. After 5 deaths with this method, I decided to try out a spirit summon. Summons can be really useful against Malenia, drawing aggro away from you and dealing some extra damage against her. But summons can also be a double-edged sword in this fight. Malenia recovers health anytime she lands an attack, so your summon could just end up as a healing punching bag for the boss. The first one I used was Dung Eater Puppet plus 10. Usually old Dung Eater is pretty good in a fight since he has a mix of powerful ranged and melee attacks. Unfortunately, he didn't fare well against Malenia. He very frequently completely whiffs on melee attacks, and he's awful at dodging Malenia's abilities. Come on, you really gonna let her do that to you, man? Occasionally he'll get a stagger, but he also wastes a lot of time casting these debuffs, which pretty much do nothing to the boss as far as I could tell. And worse, when he's using ranged abilities, Malenia usually switches aggro to your main character. So yeah, I died every time I used Dung Eater as my summon. I did get to phase 2 once with him, but he was more of a liability during that fight. I know a lot of players swear by Black Knife Tish as a great summon for this fight, but I didn't have her yet in my playthrough. So I called up my man, Omen Killer Rolo. This dude is an absolute beast against Malenia. He's super aggressive, he can frequently stagger her, he can get bleed damage, and he breathes fire. Plus he's a tank who will keep Malenia occupied most of the time. He's not particularly great at evading her attacks, but he's so aggressive that there's a fair chance he'll keep her stun locked. Most of the times I died with Rolo on my team were when I hadn't figured out the dodges for Malenia's waterfowl blade. But on my 14th attempt, everything finally came together. So yeah, that's how a 99 intelligence mage build fares against Malenia. There are a few extra things I could have done to optimize this further. If I had invested a few extra levels in my intelligence base stat and traded the Burger King mask for Lusat's full armor set, I could have boosted the damage of Stars of Ruin. I also could have cast Terra Magica and used the Magic Shrouding Crack tier in my Wondrous Physic to get a little extra damage out of Kama d'Azur at the beginning of Phase 2, but in the end, this setup got the job done anyway, so I'm happy. If you like this video, be sure to subscribe to Big Dan Gaming for more RPG videos like this. If you'd like to see how I put this whole build together, let me know in the comments below, and perhaps I can do a full guide on this mage build. Also, big shout out to all the channel members for supporting my content. Until next time, this has been Big Dan. I should go.